buildings are built to be about 50 feet tall. We did that for a couple of reasons, and one reason is to try to remove the hills around us. Because if you've been to New York, not a lot of hills there. So if we claimed we were in New York City and you saw the Hollywood Hills, you'll know that they're actually just filming here on our back lot. I saw an episode of, I think it was Criminal Minds. Yeah, it was Criminal Minds. They were supposed to be in Washington, D.C. Not a lot of hills there either. But they were, it was the final episode, I think. There was a bank robbery. It happened right here. You can see all of the hills right over there. That's why we made the building so tall so you wouldn't see these hills. The director still found the wrong camera angles. Also, we made the building so tall so that when the camera sees the buildings, it can give the illusion these buildings are really as tall as the ones in New York City or whatever metro area we want to be in at that time. Now, this area has been seen as many different metropolitan areas. It was San Francisco and Dirty Harry. Let's see, you can see it as London and Austin Powers. It's been Gotham City and Batman, as well as Batman and Minneapolis in Jingle All the Way with Sinbad and Arnold Schwarzenegger. All over the place. Los Angeles for Transformers. Side of the clock, we have the hymn there for Macy's. This was actually used in The Amazing Spider-Man. He landed right there on that little awning and he grabbed two people who were robbing a bank, I believe. Island. So let's check in with the director of our most recent King Kong movie, Peter Jackson.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct
Do we need to wear 3D? No?
I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old. I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up to the edge. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times.
He lost another weight. Peter Jackson.
So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island.
He was fat. Look.
Now we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses.
We always know when people are looking straight ahead of the shot that we're working on. Here you have to take into account that people are looking in all directions. Also, one of the things about this ride, unlike movies that we're used to working on, there's no cuts. Because it's one giant shot. This tram is driving along through Skull Island, which is where the camera's from. This ring represents where the screen is 10 meters away. We're really creating about 50 minutes of a feature film. That amount of visual information.
Next to that car, you will see the Ferrari from Magnum PI. Now, it does not have a real Ferrari engine, but it does have a real fiberglass Ferrari frame. We'll also see some of our picture cars from Back to the Future Part 2, and these are all 2015 models, so if you're looking for a new car next year, you might want to pick up one of these off the lot. Also, we have some eco-friendly cars from the Flintstones movie. They're not actually foot-powered cars, though. They're really golf carts with foam rubber and fiberglass frames. And of course, we have to have some of our cars from the Fast and Furious franchise. But you're going to see this flip car here from Fast and Furious 6. They made 4 of them for the movie, and each one cost about $300,000. Earlier, I mentioned that the movie Transformers filmed on our property, and they left some of their cars behind, like this tank, which is actually made out of plywood. But next, we're going to make our way over to a jungle island off the coast of Costa Rica. Real life was dangling over a parking garage located here on our property. So here on our left-hand side, you'll see some fake trees that were used in Jurassic Park. Now you can tell that they're fake because the paint is chipping away and you can see the styrofoam. These trees have wheels and handles, so it made it easy for our set decorators to move these trees to different parts of the sound stages when they were filming Jurassic Park here on our property. And in our Jurassic Park movies, weather played a very important role in creating the mood necessary for the movies. We used stuff like fog, rain, and mist to mask some of that CGI, and some of the puppetry to help make the dinosaurs seem a little bit more real. Here to tell us about the weather in our neck of the woods, let's check in with Al Roker.
Hi everybody, here's today's forecast for the Universal Backlot. It's going to be sunny and dry at 6 Points, Texas. Cool and cloudy in Little Europe. Expect snow and
This is where the flood comes. The flood, the water will be gushing, coming from that side, from there.
That's the forecast for today. Now here's a look at what's going on in your neck of the line.
There you go.
Looks like we got a flash flood schedule for this area.
I've seen all this on YouTube.
By putting sprinklers on top of water into the air, so it'll fall back to the ground naturally, just like feel out gravity. The raindrops are larger than actual raindrops. We do that so it's easier for us to see the rain on film. And sometimes we'll add a little bit of filter powder into the water just so we can see the rain. And I hear some rumbling. Oh, it's coming. I think that's the
I told you, I haven't seen it.
A lot of water fun.
Whoa.
That's not real water. It's a real flood. Now you might have seen the flood in the movie Big Fat Liar.
I'm getting wet.
You cannot run a wildcat! Yeah, we'll see about that. With dirt, very special dirt. You have to rent and return, and I'll tell you why. It's dirt that we take all the small particles out that might knock dust into the air. So if you have a team of horses racing down the street, if they knock a lot of dust into the air, it could ruin the shot. You can watch as these cowboys walk down the street. You'll notice they're not kicking any dust into the air. Now we also rent snow here. It's called snow business. There's no business like snow business. Now we call this area 6 Points because in the silent film era, we could film on 6 different streets at the same time. Each street had its own bank, its own sheriff's department, its own hotel, and its own saloon. So basically each one of the streets was its own little city. But you can see this area as Australia in the early 1900s in Saving Mr. Banks starring Tom Hanks. I'm going to go with you with that if you don't mind much. Thank you. Now this lake right here in front of us, we call it Park Lake. Now they actually rented police cruiser in that water for the movie Blues Brothers. But you probably know this area as the Black Lagoon from Creature from the Black Lagoon. Also where Norman Bates stored his bodies in Psycho. And we made that area look like the Pacific Ocean at McHale's Tables. This kind of works like a grocery store. Our set decorators will find whatever aisle they're looking for, then find whatever items they need. And when they found the item they want, they're going to put a little piece of paper on it called a hold tag. It's like a little contract left behind by the set decorators to hold the item, and it works like a first-come, first-served basis. If another set decorator is seen removing a hold tag and putting their hold tag in its place, they are banned from here for life, all right? The hold tag will say what the production is, when they plan on picking it up, and who plans on picking it up. It also has their phone number on it, so please no prank calls, right? So as we walk through, look at some of these hold tags. It might be a TV show that you really enjoy or a movie that's coming out soon that you're excited to see. But sometimes they use a fake name too.
Lampshades.
They don't want you to know what they're wearing.
Heaps of them.
Ship in Paris, I was right here. In the Pink Panther movie, when Steve Martin was accusing people of murder in Paris, France, I was also here. Also in Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David. When he went to Paris, France, he really went right here. Beverly Hills 90210. When the kids went to Paris, they went to right here, Little Europe. As I'm saying, we've made this area look like France. Also, we made it look like Spain in City Slickers. This is where they had the running of the bulls at the beginning of that movie. But next, we're going to make our way over to our Court of Miracles, one of the most historic locations here on our property. It can be seen in the Nicki Minaj music video, but that's not why it's historic. This area is historic because you can't talk about Universal Monsters or Universal Monster movies without talking about our Court of Miracles. This is where a lot of our monsters got their start.
When we think of Universal, we think of monsters. Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, Bride of Frankenstein, The Mummy, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, The Invisible Man, Phantom of the Opera. Classic films. They're just brilliantly made. That Frankenstein image, flathead, bald
It's one of the great icons of the world.
That to me was like the essence of the Universal horror film. I was just mesmerized by this movie. Boris Karloff, Lon Chaney.
I remember the original Universal Studios Mummy movie really scaring me.
They still ring in our memories now, and we love them.
Now, when they were making the movie Frankenstein here on our property, the monster Boris Karloff, they would put a burlap sack over his head every time they would walk into set because they were concerned that the people here on the lot would freak out and be very frightened by this monster that was on the property. And also, when they released the movie, they had nurses on site because they thought people would start to pass out and at the sight of the monster. Now, here on our left-hand side, they are filming the television show Home and Family, which airs on the Hallmark Channel. I saw them in the front there, so I was trying to make sure they weren't actually filming while I was riding by and talking. It'd be terrible if they heard me, but they just edited it out, right, Punch? That's how it works. Anyway, that's how it's about today. Okay. Alright, this is the big one, everybody! Oh, look out on your left, the roof is falling apart, and leak out of gas is the heading straight for the trolley. Now there's the man inside of the truck, and it looks like he's too scared to do it. Oh, what a jump! Disaster. I mean, we have sparks flying, fires everywhere, the ground is falling apart, but at least there's not a subway train. Alright, there's the subway train. I don't think it's gonna stop in time. Oh, that's nice. That's much good thing to park down there. Wait, anybody else hear that? Oh, look out, a water main broke! That is earthquake the big one. We just suffered through an 8.3 on the Richter scale. This downstairs you can see is Beverly Hills Cop 3 starring Eddie Murphy. The television show Sliders, and this is the earthquake on Bone.
What's going on?
Let's get out of here! The water main just broke! Our next stop will be Amity Island, a nice little New England town that was terrorized by a man-eating shark.